folk singer is dead after she was attacked by a pair of coyotes.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey...
He hit your face off!
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales.
If I show weakness, if I retreat, I may be hurt, I may be killed.
Baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken by a dingo back in 1980.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and my non-binary pals. Welcome back to Man. It is the only true crime podcast on the entire despicable internet where all the killers are real animals. Whether it's biting, scratchings, maulings, or goddamn clawings, we are here to talk about it. I'm Jimby, a.k.a. Jimbalaya, a.k.a. Zimbabwe, a.k.a. Big Papa Plump, joining you for the first time in a few weeks. It's probably about 3 weeks since I've recorded. And good Lord, am I excited to be back. Just flew in this morning and boy, are my arms tired. Stop it. All right. African Drum Circle joins me as always as my co-host. How are you, pal? Ooh, that's right. I had surgery. That's why you haven't heard from me. Ooh, that rhymed. I'm a poet and I didn't even realize the fact that I was one. That's right. It's been a while since you've heard my beautiful, dulcet Australian voice because, about a week ago I was rushed to hospital with severe stomach pain. Let me tell you a little story about appendicitis, okay? Or from Wednesday evening. Like, I remember being in bed on Wednesday evening and my stomach felt really bloated and bad. Now, having said that, I had just eaten a lot of tinned fish and drank a lot of alcohol. So I thought it was just my bad dietary behavior coming back to bite me. And that still might be the case. But the next day, the pain was still there in my gut, gradually moving to a more acute pain in my lower right abdominal area. And my wife, pretty early on, to her credit, said, "Hey, it could be appendicitis." And I said, because I'm a responsible gentleman, I said, "Nah." And I went to work. And I basically did that very classic male thing of ignoring it as long as I could. I even went to my acting class that night and sweated through a scene. But I left early because I wasn't feeling too well. Got home, got into bed, thought, what the hell? Celia's usually pretty smart about this kind of thing. Started Googling. This is, not great advice, but I did start Googling my symptoms. And lo and behold, severe stomach pain that starts as like a general feeling and then moves to the lower right abdomen specifically is very indicative of appendicitis. The only thing that threw me is that apparently appendicitis also has symptoms including vomiting and fever, of which I had none. But potentially I got my vomiting and fever hours in when I had food poisoning like 5 weeks ago. So yeah, it's been a rough month for me, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to hospital that night, kind of hesitant because it's truly inconvenient. Was admitted pretty quickly. God bless the people at John Hunter Hospital. Basically spent the night waiting to hear back. I had was it an MRI? No, it was a CT scan of my abdomen. And they came back about a week ago now, actually, as of recording, and said, "Hey, so we nearly sent you home last night. We're glad we didn't because you probably would have died in your sleep. You have acute appendicitis. We need to rush you into surgery," which they did, and I had my tummy sliced open. I had a laparoscopic appendectomy, which is the way they describe it to you is very chaotic and bizarre. Essentially, they put 3 holes in my stomach, one of them through my belly button. The belly button one is a camera, and then the 2 other ones are little robot arms that go through, and they do this thing. But the thing that freaked me out the most, the nurse was explaining, is that when they put the first one through, they inflate your stomach with gas. I don't know what kind of gas. Happy gas, maybe. They inflate your stomach so that your stomach kind of like rises off your organs so they can see what they're doing and they have a bit of room to move around. It meant that I was bloated for a few days after that. I've never felt less attractive than I did in that hospital gown. ass out for the world to see, with my stomach looking like I'm a pregnant lady. The gas luckily did migrate through the rest of my body, causing severe muscle cramps in my chest and shoulders and back. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well. Unfortunately, it meant I did have to take a week off work, which sucks. I mean, because it's the busiest time of year. Very rough. So very grateful for my colleagues who had to pick up my slack there. But I'm doing my best. I did wait a while to record this episode. It's basically a week now since I was rushed. I had the surgery. So that's basically my story. How are you? How are you doing? I'm so sorry. I really just yapped your ear off this whole time about me. What are you up to? Oh, that's cool. Did you nearly die though? Because I nearly died. Yeah. By the way, if you didn't know why the show was 3 weeks late, some of you did because I posted it on the Instagram. You should go follow our Instagram. There's a link in the description or whatever. Go follow the Instagram because that's, if for whatever reason I'm rushed into surgery again, that's where I'm going to tell you guys. You're not sitting there with your dick in your hand wondering, oh, where's episode 145? Whatever the title of this episode's going to be. It's coming now. But you would have known that if you'd been on the Instagram, guys. Anyway, that's it. We've got a lot to catch up on, gang. It's been, like I said, 3 weeks, a lot of zoo news, a lot of scratches of the day, scratches of the month, nearly, if we can talk about it like that. So we're going to do a quick fire catch-up episode. All the animal attacks throughout the world in the news in the last month or so. We're going to talk about it. We're going to learn some stuff together. It's one of those episodes where it's kind of like a scratch of the month, scratch of the 3 weeks. There should be a word for 3 weeks. There's a word for 2 weeks. It's a fortnight. I don't know if you guys use that in America very often, but a week is a week, a fortnight is 2 weeks, and a month is 4 weeks. There should be a word for 3 weeks. What should we call it? A tricle. Yeah, this is the scratch of the tricle. I'm just going to keep calling it Scratch of the Day. Scratch of the Day, the segment of the show where we look at animal attacks, animal-human conflict in the news, and we learn a little bit about our world together. Got a fair few stories to catch up on. The first one, guys, from my corner of the woods, there was a shark attack last week, just north of where I live in Newcastle, New South Wales, in a place called Crowdy Bay. I've never been to Crowdy Bay, but one of the things about the state that I live in fact, the country I live in, is we have a virtually unlimited number of beautiful, pristine beaches. Crowdy Bay is one of them, a favorite for surfers and tourists alike. Unfortunately, there was a shark attack that was fatal about a week ago. So we're going to learn about that now. Crowdy Bay shark attack. It highlights the need for first aid devices, drone surveillance on remote beaches, says ABC News. A makeshift tourniquet may have made all the difference between a shark attack that claimed 2 lives rather than 1 on the New South Wales mid-north coast this week. A 26-year-old Swiss national survived an attack at Crowdy Bay that killed his girlfriend thanks to a bystander that he flagged down, who wrapped swimwear around his leg to stem major blood loss. The bull shark attack came as permanent, quote, shark bite kits were about to be installed on the beach. Community shark bite kits organizer Danny Shooten said 2 kits containing a tourniquet, compression bandages, dressings, a thermal blanket, whistle, gloves, and first aid instructions for serious bite injuries had been delivered to the beach the day prior for installation. Quote, "The timing is very sad. There will be a kit coming there really soon," he said. New South Wales Ambulance Hastings Mid-North Coast Inspector Kieran Mowbray said the man made heroic efforts to save his girlfriend. Quote, "The shark attacked the female first, and her partner had tried to fight the shark off her, but it attacked him," she said. "After that, he's managed to get them both to shore, which is incredible. I don't know how he done it." Mr. Shooten's friend, New South Wales shark victim, opens up about the very crazy shark attack in North Port Macquarie 15 months ago. The only person who was on the remote beach when the attack happened used his dog's lead to tie a tourniquet to stem the massive blood loss. Determined to prevent others from dying from shark bites, Mr. Shooten began an online campaign to create and install shark bite kits throughout Australia. Quote, "It's pointless having tourniquets locked away in surf towers, surf clubs, or in someone's car," he said. "They really need to be accessible to everybody if you really want to save someone's life." Community shark bite kits have installed 150 kits on beaches from Queensland to Western Australia and aims to have 230 installed by early 2026. "We know that someone can bleed out within a matter of minutes, so to get a tourniquet on them and stem that bleeding can save someone's life." The Port Macquarie Surf Lifesaving Club said there had been a number of shark sightings in the region during the week, along with tightly packed schools of fish known as bait balls that can attract ocean predators. Patrol and drone monitoring have increased in the wake of the attack. Colum Brown from the Behaviour, Ecology and Evolution of Fishes Laboratory at Macquarie University in Sydney said increasing drone surveillance of beaches and supplying tourniquets at beaches would help prevent fatal shark attacks. Quote, "The drone flights at the moment are limited to very popular beaches," he said. "You literally have a drone in a box that sits next to a solar panel and is programmed to run. It can automatically report to a ground station, and it can have inbuilt AI that recognizes sharks." Professor Brown said shark attacks were declining and that, shark numbers were declining, and that an increasing number of shark bites in recent decades was largely due to Australia's growing population. Quote, "The average number of fatalities over the last 15 years has been about 3 deaths per year," he said. The 10 years before that, it was about 1.5 deaths per year, and if you go back even further, it declines. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the Australian population in the last 100 years has gone from 6 million to 27 million, and the vast majority of us are on the coast. Professor Brown said the general belief was that bull sharks were more aggressive than other species, but that was not necessarily the case. Quote, "If you take Sydney Harbour, for example, there's quite a good number of bull sharks, and there are literally millions of people in the water. It's very rare for someone to be bitten by a bull shark there. The vast majority of people who do die from shark attacks, it's mostly from juvenile great white sharks." That's basically the story there. Unfortunately, this woman did die. This Swiss woman did die. Her partner survived. I believe they were both taken to John Hunter Hospital. And in a very weird turn of events, I was at the hospital the exact same time as them, in the same hospital. Not in the same emergency room, I guess. I feel like they probably would have been helicopter lifted and taken to a special shark bite room. But yeah, it's a little strange sometimes when these stories interact with my life so specifically. But yeah, I was definitely there when they were there. So yeah, that's that story. It's very sad. It does happen. I think these shark bite kits are a great idea, though. What a terrific idea. Everyone should know how to do that. I think it's something that we are taught in Australia a lot is safety with wildlife. When you're a kid, you're taught you don't touch the blue ring octopus. I'm surprised every day when I see a video of some tourist somewhere seeing a cute little octopus and picking it up and not realizing that is one of the most deadly creatures on the planet. In your fingers right there. Any Australian would know, or any Australian at least that grew up on the coast would know, don't fuck with that. We know snake bite, first aid for the majority. You always tap your shoes before you go. If you left your shoes outside, you knock them upside down in case there's a spider or a snake in there or something like that. But I think that learning how to do shark first aid probably is not a bad idea and probably will happen eventually. Teaching you how to do a tourniquet, for example, and apply bandages and thermal blankets and all that jazz. Still a pretty sad story. It's always terrible when a fatality happens on the beach. I don't know if they have done a shark cull. Occasionally that happens after a shark attack in Australia. They'll cull the sharks in the area, or they'll at least try to hunt down the specific shark that did this attack. I don't actually know if that's happened yet. I imagine that it probably will after many shark attacks that happen here. That is pretty much the first thing that happens. Be very interested to hear what this Swiss guy has to say after all is said and done, after he recovers, because I imagine he's probably still in recovery. Hey, if it's taken me nearly a week to get over my appendicitis, I'm sure that this dude who had a severe shark attack and had a tourniquet attached to his leg to stem his massive blood loss, I'm sure he will probably take a little bit longer. But then again, I am a massive pussy, and this guy sounds like a very brave person, because he did try to save his girlfriend from a shark attack, which is crazy. I think we all like to think that we would do that, but I don't think it's guaranteed that we're all that brave, are we? Over to North America now. A homeowner was stunned after witnessing a wild animal attack on its family dog. Quote unquote, it didn't even flinch. An Australian shepherd survived after a mountain lion clamped its jaws around her head on a Wyoming property, Cowboy State Daily reported. Shelley Williamson spotted the attack from an upstairs window early on Sunday. Her dog, Dottie, lay motionless while the big cat clamped down on her skull. Quote, I didn't even flinch on the... Is that a Wyoming accent? I didn't even flinch on the noise. I was banging on the window screen and hooting at the mountain lion. That's definitely not Wyoming, is it? The only person I know that's from Wyoming, I'm pretty sure, was Dick Cheney. So let's do Dick Cheney voices for this, okay? Let me start again. I didn't even notice the noise. I'm in hell. So, okay. All right, let's not do the... let's just read the fucking article. I was banging on the window screen and hooting at the mountain lion, Williamson said. Williamson's husband honked their truck horn, but the noise failed to scare it. The cat moved across the property with Dottie hanging limp in its jaws. The dog later escaped and bolted back to the house. She miraculously survived with just minor puncture wounds on her skull and chin. The family's 40-acre property sits in rough terrain outside of Newcastle. What? Newcastle, Wyoming? Is that a place? That's very strange because I'm from Newcastle and the story we just talked about was near Newcastle, and then this is Newcastle, Wyoming. Wow. Newcastle, Wyoming. It's a city in the county of Wesson County, Wyoming in the US. Population of 3,374. Wow. There you go. City of Newcastle, Wyoming. That's crazy. Okay, well, if you're from Newcastle, Wyoming, hello. Anyway, let's get back to it. People in the area have noticed an increase in big cat sightings, and one killed a buck on nearby land. I'm assuming buck means a deer, not a person about to get married. Trail cameras recorded big cats at different locations around the neighborhood. Neighbors think a mother and at least 2 juveniles now live nearby. Big cats are venturing into populated areas more and more often as global rising temperatures alter their territories. Animals search for new food and water sources when their usual environments can't support them. Wildlife biologists note the animals are moving closer into eastern grasslands where they are uncommon. This expansion brings them closer to farms, ranches, and suburban properties. These close calls put families and animals at risk. The Williamsons ensured that grandchildren are escorted outdoors and keep Dottie indoors unless someone else accompanies her. Preserving wild spaces helps keep animal populations where they belong and stops dangerous run-ins near homes. Healthy ecosystems mean safer communities and thriving wildlife can coexist. If big cat species live near you, and they might because a lot of our listeners do live in North America, bring your pets inside during early morning and evening hours when these predators hunt. Put up lights that turn on with movement and store garbage in sealed bins that animals can't open. Call your representatives and establish and protect animal migration paths. These routes let wildlife move safely along wild areas without passing through neighborhoods. I say this quite frequently, and you might be tired of hearing me talk about this. I get a little bit miffed when Americans, in the comments section of a TikTok about an Australian, talk about how, I'll give you an example. I saw a TikTok that was saying, what's the best and worst thing about every country? And when it got to Australia, it was the climate, the people are the best thing about Australia. The worst thing, everything wants to kill you. That is such a cliche that's just fundamentally not true. And when it's Americans, people from North America, I get so irate because you live on a continent, you live in places with fucking huge grizzly bears and black bears, wolves run free, fucking mountain lions. You have goddamn lions in your mountains, okay? That's just 4 animals right there that can eat you. Australia has none of that, all right? And if you stay out of the water, you're good. I get you could be eaten by a shark or a crocodile in certain places, not even most places in Australia. Far north, in the rivers up there, yes, crocodiles can exist in there and pose a danger. And, our old mate, here he goes.
Blue, as far as I'm concerned.
But I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
Yeah, as Bob Catter says, far North Queensland, Northern Territory as well. Crocodile attacks, shark attacks on the beaches, pretty much everywhere. That one's fair. But if you're on land, you're good. There's nothing that can get you here. You know, just don't put your foot on a snake. You'll be fine. North Americans, you live with those animals. Plus, I didn't even mention like alligators also. You also have shark attacks. You have more shark attacks than we have. So I don't understand when Americans are like, oh, Australia, everything wants to kill you. And then stories like this happen. Like a full-on big cat, or I guess it's not a big cat, it's the biggest of the small cats. A cougar come and eats your dog. So, I don't know. Americans and Canadians, I think you guys need to give yourself more credit than you think. Like, you are the dangerous continent. I mean, if we're being honest, Africa is the most fucked up. Or India. Good Lord. I wouldn't want to live in either of those places when it comes to wildlife. Because you could literally, like, not just a mountain lion, but in Africa, you get a lion come in. What is this rant about? I guess I'm just saying, Australia is not so bad in terms of wildlife because we don't have mountain lions coming in and eating my dog. I don't have a dog, but if I did have a dog, that's like one of the last things I'd want to see happening, having it being chewed on. The other last thing I want to see with my dog is its little red rocket. I saw a family friend's dog with his little red rocket once as a child, and it traumatized me. It was like a little lipstick. It was awful. Ugh. Staying in North America, since we've had a little rant about North American wildlife, we've got a grizzly bear attack in Canada. Grizzly bear has mauled school children in Canada. This is awful. In Toronto, a grizzly bear attacked a group of primary school students on a walking trail in Canada, seriously injuring 3 children and a teacher. The attack happened in the town of Bella Coola, about 700 kilometers northwest of Vancouver, on the central coast of the western province of British Columbia. Officers were still searching for the animal on Saturday, and residents had been told to remain indoors until further notice. A group of about 20 students and teachers had stopped along a trail near the river when the grizzly burst out from the forest and attacked, the BC Conservation Officer Service said. Several teachers intervened, including using bear spray and a bear banger, a bear banger. Sounds like a dude who's just really into big hairy dudes. A bear banger, a loud exploding device used to deter wildlife to drive the bear away. Parent Veronica Schooner said her 10-year-old son Alvarez was among the children from the year 4-5 class who were attacked while they were on the walk. He was so close to the animal that he even felt its fur, she said. He was running for his life, she told the Canadian press. He said that the bear ran so close to him that it was going after somebody else. Schooner said a lot of people tried to halt the attack, but one male teacher, quote, got the brunt of it and was among the people taken by helicopter from the scene. She said some of the children were hit with bear spray as the teachers fought off the bear. Ooh, that's gotta suck. Quote, I want to thank the teachers for their heroism, BC Premier David Eby said at a press conference on Friday. I want to send my heart out to the parents and kids and loved ones and everyone who has been injured and is in hospital right now. I hope for their quick recovery. Schooner said Alvarez was limping and that his shoes were muddy from running for safety. While her son was, quote, traumatized, she said his thoughts were with his classmates. Quote, he keeps crying for his friends, and oh my goodness, right away he started praying for his little friends, she said. Paramedics provided emergency medical treatment to 4 patients and took them to hospital, the Provincial Health Service Authority told Reuters by email. 2 patients were in a critical condition and 2 in a serious condition. A further 7 people were cared for at the scene but did not require transportation to hospital. Corporal Madonna Saunderson of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police described the victim's injuries as very serious at the least, the Canadian press reported. Authorities have not yet disclosed the ages or genders of the pupils. The group was from The group was from the Aquasacta school. There's not enough vowels in that word somehow. Aquasacta. There's somehow too many A's and not enough A's in that word. School. A school run by the indigenous Nuxalk Nation. I hope I get that right. Nuxalk Nation. Nuxalk. Nuxalk? Not sure. The school was closed on Friday. Quote, "It's hard to know what to say during this very difficult time. We are so grateful for our team and our students," the school said in a Facebook post, adding that counselling services had been made available. The nation chief and council said in a statement on Friday that the bear attack had affected children and so many loved ones. Quote, "We want to remain in close contact with the families, and we understand that those who were injured are recovering in the highest level of care." The BCCOS said that the bear had not yet been captured. Officers are armed. Remain indoors and off the highway, the Nuxalk Nation said in a social media post. Inspector Kevin Van Dam told the New York Times it was extremely rare for any bear to attack a large group of people. "I really need to stress how dangerous this situation is with the bear at large," Van Dam said. And that's the story there. Wild. Absolutely crazy. Can you imagine? I mean, my school excursions were like, go to the tip, go to where they put the rubbish and then do a little report on the rubbish cycle or whatever. Canada, that is crazy. I hope that those patients are okay. 2 of them in critical condition. When was this? This was on November 22nd, so about a week ago. About a week and a half ago, actually, from recording. So there might be a follow-up on that. Is there a follow-up? I just want to see if they've... No, there isn't. That's a shame. Oh, there's an animal attack tab. There we go. There's a photo of the Swiss people who were attacked. No, unfortunately, there's no update there on the bear attack. So hopefully they're okay. Not sure. Canadian bear attacks still relatively rare. The place that we've been talking about bear attacks a lot recently is Japan. We, on the last episode, did a big sort of deep dive on what's going on in Japan. They've called the army in. I did look to see if there was an update on the bear attack situation in Japan. So far, it's pretty similar. There's no new information. Army's been deployed. The government is hiring lots of hunters to try to cull some of these bears. But yeah, if there is an update there, we will let you know. Same with this attack on the Canadian school children. If there is an update there, we will also have to do a little follow-up up on that. Okay, back to Australia. A young boy has been hospitalised after a stunning wild animal attack on the beach. Dingos have been the source of TV punchlines for years. However, the wild canine has been known to seriously injure humans. And that now includes a 6-year-old boy named Gus who was attacked while fishing on an Australian beach in Cougars. Gus was visiting the island of Cougars with his grandfather. He was about to reel in a fish when a dingo snuck up behind him. The boy sustained cuts and bites to his head and torso, and he lost half of one of his ears. Quote, "My son ran, and it barreled down again and again and went again," Gus's mother said. She explained how his grandfather was able to get the dingo off after the initial attack, but that it took about 5 people 45 minutes to free her son the second time. That is harrowing, good lord. Paramedics treated Gus at a nearby beach. He was then flown to Queensland Children's Hospital and he will need several surgeries to recover. According to the Australian Department of the Environment, Tourism, Science and Innovation, there have been 17 dingo incidents on Cougars this year. It's always a sad day when something traumatic like this happens, especially to a young child. Yet in general, the blame for the animal attacks on humans does not fall on the animals themselves. Increased human presence in animal habitats, construction projects, and disrupted natural resources are all often contributing factors. In other cases, human provocation leads to an attack. These events pose clear dangers to human beings, but they also harm the animals, which may be euthanized after the attack, setting back conservation efforts and harming ecosystems at large. In case you don't know, dingoes are a protective native species in Australia. Knowing how to act in places where they live is key to keeping yourself safe. You're very unlikely to be in a place with dingoes. They are quite rare. In the outback regions, they are out there, but all of these attacks essentially happen on the island of Cougars, formerly known as Fraser Island. Why the attacks there? Well, the dingo population is quite large on Cougars, and also people fish. That's the thing. They hunt most things. They'll go for small rodents, small animals, lizards, or birds if they can. They'll basically eat anything they can. They'll also go for fish. They live on the beach. They'll find dead fish, and if you're fishing, they will go for the fish that you have, and they will, on occasion, like with Gus, the 6-year-old, they will go for you as well. Unfortunately, I've always wanted to go to Cougars. It seems like a beautiful island, and yeah, I've always wanted to see a dingo in the wild as well. Generally, they are pretty. They do keep to themselves. It just seems to be on this island in particular, they are a bit more aggressive. It's probably also because they're a bit more used to humans as well, because it's such a tourist area. They just become habituated, and maybe they associate people with food. In the rest of Australia, if you see a dingo, they typically will try to keep to themselves. I was talking to a friend a while ago, and they were telling me that their friend owns a pet dingo, which I was fairly certain was illegal. A few weeks ago, we also talked about this political move to, I think they were trying to establish that dingoes were a form of feral dog, or saying that they were related to other dogs. And I think the reasoning behind that was because they wanted to make it easier to kill them in rural areas. Because dingoes can be pests, I guess, for farmers. They'll go after sheep and pigs and stuff like that. So if you classify them as just like a regular dog, I guess it's easier to get away with shooting them. I think that's my understanding of that. That's pretty bad. I don't want them to do that. I like dingoes, and I don't think you should kill them. That is the official policy of this podcast, yes. Oh, don't clap. It's okay. Very good. Okay. Let's move on. Boy, oh boy, there are a lot of Australian animal attacks in the news this month. We are over to Sydney now. A man is in critical condition after being attacked by several dogs in Sydney's west. This occurred on November 6th. I hope I haven't already covered this story before. Let me have a quick read. No, I don't think so. I think we did mention this, but let's read it again because it's quite a short story. A man is in critical condition after being attacked by several dogs in Sydney's west. Emergency services arrived at the property in Kildare Road on Doonside about 11 a.m. following reports of a dog attack. When officers arrived, they were told a man had been attacked by several dogs. The 54-year-old was treated at the scene by paramedics before being taken to Westmead Hospital in a critical condition. 6 dogs have been seized from a property by Blacktown Council. A council spokesperson said that 3 dogs would be euthanized. At the request of the owners, 3 dogs believed to be of the crossed bull Arab style were voluntarily surrendered to the council and have been euthanized. Preliminary information indicates the incident began when several large dogs attacked smaller dogs on the property. Council is committed to community safety and will continue to support the police as inquiries continue. This incident comes as the second dog attack in Sydney this week after a man was mauled inside his unit on Monday. That is the story that we talked about last time. There you go. Just a classic dog attack there. Just a classic mutt attack. Love it. Of course, don't love it. You know what I need to get on the sound mixer here? Have you ever heard? Oh God, I'm gonna pull it up on YouTube and see if I can play it for you. Back when I was a kid, what do I even search for this? Man makes dog noises on news. There was perfect, barking old man, barking rabid Ray. Yeah, this was when I was a kid. This guy, what an Australian moment. He was being interviewed by a current affair, which, by the way, hack journalism show, by the way, but still, it delivered this classic. I'll see if I can play it for you. I bet you all get an ad as well. If I get an ad.
Morning,
here we go.
I came out into the front yard and the dogs were across the road. And as soon as they saw me, they came bounding over. And I just made it into the front door in.
Oh, God, that's so good. That's such a good goddamn, that clip. Go search it up. Look up Guy Imitates Dog Attack on the News. Fantastic. Because the audio really only paints half the story there.
Yesterday morning,
his fucking
I came out into the
face.
front yard.
His wife is just nearly bowled over by him. Good Lord.
They came bounding over. And I just made it into the front.
I think that needs to be on the soundboard for sure. I do have a thing that says dog here. What does that do? Oh, it just plays a cool little flute sound effect. All right. Well, there you go. Another dog attack in Sydney. Dog attacks, I have to limit myself. I could do an entire episode just on dog attacks every week if I wanted to. That would be a much different, much more boring podcast. Just to switch it up a little bit for you, found an article which claims that they have uncovered the US's most lethal animal. And that it's a lot more common than you'd think. As a lot of you guys, the majority of you guys, I would say, live in North America, including the United States, this might be interesting to you. So let's read this article by Kira Piper on Twisted Sifter. After generations of harsh lessons, it's understandable that many of us have an innate fear response when it comes to certain animals, a biological adaptation designed to keep us alive. It's easy to forget that just a few generations ago, our ancestors would have faced serious illness or even death after an incident with an animal that nowadays, thanks to modern medicine, we think of as relatively harmless. And it's no surprise, really, that the most common animal phobias are arachnophobia, which is a fear of spiders, or ophidiophobia, ophidiophobia, a fear of snakes. Since just one bite from the wrong species of either could deliver a killing blow back in the days before antivenom, and in the right circumstances still could. But according to a new paper published in the Journal of Environmental Health Insights, there are plenty more animals that are worth being wary of, with the most common killer in the US absolutely not an animal that you would expect. In the paper, researchers examined all animal-related fatalities occurring in the US in the 5-year period between 2018 and 2023. It is notable, of course, that this time span includes the lockdowns related to the COVID-19 pandemic. This amounted to 1,604 animal-related deaths, with an alarming gradual increase from 227 animal-related deaths in 2018 up to 313 animal-related deaths in the year 2023. And to put the minds of those anxious about snakes and spiders to rest, only about 30 deaths across the 5-year period were attributed to snakes, with just 26 others attributed to spiders. As for the main culprits, surprisingly, these were among the smallest animals you'll ever find. Overall, the biggest killer in the US was flying insects, with the majority of deaths caused by an allergic reaction to the sting of a hornet, bee, or wasp, at a whopping 31% of the total animal deaths recorded in the US between 2018 and 2023, or around 497 total deaths. However, man's best friend were also in some cases our worst nightmare, with 420, blaze it, fatal dog attacks during the duration of the study, and perhaps logically at the rate rising sharply as the pandemic began. Other culprits included cows and horses, with bears killing a small number of people too, though the authors are keen to note that any kind of animal-related death is still super rare. But it all goes to show that those scary animals that we fear on an evolutionary level perhaps aren't the ones that we should be scared about. If you thought that was interesting, I'm not going to read this. So stupid. If you thought that was interesting, you might like to read a story about Earth's priciest precious metal. No, I wouldn't actually like to do that. But apparently it costs over $10,000 an ounce. Okay, now I'm a little interested. This paper sounds very interesting. I'd love to hear about the... Is there a breakdown here? I don't want to manage the cookies. Just let me read. Okay. This is... Okay, wow. Okay, cool. We have a table here. Oh, with codes. Oh, okay, so there's only about maybe 15 codes here. Rat, dog, bitten or struck by other mammal, contact with a marine animal, bitten or stung by non-venomous insect or other non-vertebrate, bitten or struck by a crocodile or alligator, bitten or crushed by other reptiles, contact with venomous snakes or lizards, contact with venomous spiders, contact with scorpions, contact with hornets, wasps, or bees, contact with centipedes and millipedes, contact with other species of venomous arthropods, contact with venomous marine animals and plants, contact with other specified venomous animals, or contact with unspecified venomous animals or plants. There you go. Interesting. Variables extracted from available fatality data included the total number of deaths, the region of the occurrence based on 4 U.S. Census regions, Northeast, Midwest, South, and West, year and month of death, age in 10-year intervals, race, including American Indian or Alaska Native, Asian, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, Black or African American, white, and more than one race. Ethnicity, including Hispanic or Latino. Sex, place of death, cause of death, and autopsy, yes or no. Interesting. I wanted to see if there's any more like sort of breakdowns here. Very scientific. Okay, so we do have a cause of death breakdown. We can go down the list. This is really cool. Okay, so the cause of the percent. Let's do the percentages. Okay, so 31%, or nearly 500 of the deaths were hornets, wasps, and bees, like we talked about. Coming in second at 28.6%, so not that far behind. Only about 40 deaths behind were other mammals, so including cows and horses. In third place is dogs, which was 26.2%. And then a big drop down, other specified venomous arthropods. So I guess that would be like maybe ants or spiders. No, not spiders. Spiders is like down a little bit further. So I guess ants maybe. 78 deaths or 4.9% of total deaths. Non-venomous arthropods were next. So I guess that would be maybe like another kind of ant or bug or something like that. 3.4%. Venomous snakes with only 30 deaths at 1.9%. Venomous spiders just behind it on 26 with 1.6 deaths. Unspecified venomous animals. I'm not sure what else it could be if it's not a snake, spider, or scorpion, I guess. Marine animal. 11 people died from marine animals. 0.7. Other specified venomous animals. 0%. And then we have just S. What does S stand for? S, suppressed. Or U is unreliable. Rat, alligator, crocodile, other reptiles, scorpion, centipede, millipede, venomous marine or plants. Yeah, okay. S for everything else. So there you go. Very interesting. Sorry, I'm just reading this. Maybe I'll just read this another time. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our little scratch of the day segment. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about something a little unusual. Lots of news that we've just caught back up on. So we'll be back next week with a classic man-eated story. I'm going to do a redux of an earlier episode. But for the moment, let's talk Spotify, guys. I don't know why it has taken me this long to do this, but I didn't realize I had this. I have access to analytics from Spotify. And the reason I discovered this is that other podcasts were posting their 2025 Wrapped for creators. And I didn't know I could have that. But I logged in and I do have that. And there's some really interesting things there. The first thing that blew me away, by the way, when I logged in, I had no idea that we have nearly 2,500 people on Spotify that follow this podcast. That is huge. Thank you so much if you're one of those people. I'm blown away by that. I actually I did an audible, my wife thought I had stepped on a Lego. If you would tell me to guess how many people do you think follow you on Spotify, have pressed the little bell, I would have said maybe 100, because that's how many reviews we have on Spotify. So to have 2,500, that's incredible. Thank you so much. If you haven't and you'd like to, you should follow us though. I'd love to see that number go wee, yay, now that I mentioned it. So let's see if that happens. I also have access to comments now. Before, I'd have to just go through and physically look at each episode on the app and see if people had commented. But people have commented. One person here commented on an episode from over a year ago and said, I like the stories and I hate the language and politics. So kind of negative comment. I'm sorry you don't like my language or politics. I'll try to be a Spanish libertarian going forward. Yeah, I'm not going to read a bunch of comments, but really nice comments there. Thank you. A few that I have to review, including one from me that just says Grumbo. I don't know why that needs to be approved, but maybe they thought it was a slur. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, there's a few there that I'm not going to put in because I think they're death threats. Yeah. Oh, this person. Okay, this is from a... Oh, this is so funny. This is from 2 years ago. I had never seen this comment before. This is from 2 years ago on the episode The Malawi Terror Beast. This person this is from 2 years ago. So he says, I'm from Malawi myself, but you butchered the pronunciation so much, like Malawi. So like Malawi, I guess I'm saying that wrong already. Nyasaland, Doha, that if I hadn't already seen it in the title, I wouldn't even recognize you were mentioning my own country. Approved. Published that. Wow. This one just has a question mark. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So funny. Okay, what I thought we would do is go through our 2025 Spotify Wrapped for creators because there's some interesting facts on here. Can I see it now? All right, let's see what happens. We had, it's loading, guys. It's buffering. 2025 Wrapped for man-eaters. Let's go. 2025 was quite the year for me. Oh, proof a little hard work pays off. That's nice. We had, on Spotify, 46.5 thousand total plays. That's lovely. Wow. The audience, 4.9 thousand people, which is up from 18% last year. That's cool. And a total new audience of 3.7 thousand people, up 674% from last year. Wow. Thank you. Total followers, 43% increase from last year. That's good. Minutes of listening. Holy shit. You dickheads have listened to this show 1.1 million minutes. 1.1 million minutes of listening of man-eaters this year. That's disgusting. What are you doing? That equates to 18.7 thousand hours of listening, which is 781 days of listening, which is 111 weeks of listening, which is 25 months of listening, which is 2 years of listening. You guys, that's ridiculous. Okay. This year, one episode rose above the rest. My top episode on Spotify was Episode 123, Asia's Most Deadly Part 1. Plays 67% more than my average episode. Okay. Well, there you go. Weird. Didn't expect that. Hot takes, love notes, everything in between. Oh, Asia's Most Deadly got the most comments. The most used emoji was thumbs up. The United States left 40 comments. And the most comments were on October 30th, 2025. That's my birthday, so that makes a lot of sense because you guys are very kind and wishing me happy nuptials and birthdays. Your listening podcast got a real workout. What? Oh, wow. 78 countries listen to man-eaters. The top countries are, coming in number 5, Sweden. Shout out to the Swedes out there. Give you a clap to the Swedes. I didn't expect to see Sweden up here. The top 4, I think I can probably guess. I'm going to guess the next one is maybe Canada. Correct, Canada. Very good. Okay, I'm going to guess that the third is the UK. No, Australia. Australia is number 3, and then UK will be 2. Yeah, and then coming in number 1, of course, the US. Thank you so much. I need a different clap. It's just getting really boring now, isn't it? Top fans assemble. The show made it to many people's top. Oh, wow. So for 1.4 thousand people, man-eaters is a top 10 show for you. Thank you. For 770 of you, I'm a top 5. For 161 people on Spotify, this was the number 1 podcast you listened to in 2025. Insanity. Thank you. If you're one of those people, please let me know. Comment on this and I will happily shout you out. Your top fans streamed 5.6 times more than everyone else. Thank you, guys. 40% of you binged 2 episodes in one day. That is disgusting and disturbing. 5% of you hit play within 24 hours of a new episode drop. That is great. Hey, let's get that number up, though, because that helps me a lot. What else do we have? This is really cool. Okay, so it goes without saying you're fans of great taste. So it tells me what the majority of my fans listen to. This is weird. Okay, so the top musical artists for Man-Eaters fans I don't know if this is surprising or not. Taylor Swift coming at number 1. I mean, she's very popular. So then Morgan Wallen, who I've never heard of before. Zach Bryan, don't know him. Eminem. I must have a lot of millennials listening to me. And then Kendrick Lamar. There you go. Very strange. Interesting. Top audiobooks. The House of My Mother by Shari Frank at number 1. Meat Eaters American History, The Mountain Men by Stephen Rindella at number 2. The Long Walk by Stephen King at number 3. Code Name Pale Horse by Scott Payne at number 4. And then Weird History Facts That Will Put You to Sleep by Sleep Trivia. There you go. There's also the top 5 shows that people listen to as well. At number 1, Tooth and Claw. Love those guys. A very similar podcast to this one. I will say they have a lack of Australian representation, though, so I think we're better. Number 2, The Joe Rogan Experience. Not surprising. Number 3, The Last Podcast on the Left. The number of times I spruik those people, that doesn't surprise me. And then at number 4, Mr. Ballin Podcast. Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. Never heard of them before. And number 5, Real Survival Stories. That makes sense. Anything else interesting? Here we go. Some stats. Okay, this is cool. Maneaters is a 2025 marathon show. You guys listened longer than 98% of other shows. Wonderful. 2025 talked about show. I received more comments than 98% of other shows. That's nice. We've received we've received more shares than 92% of other shows. So we're a 2025 most shared show. That's really cool. Thank you guys. That's lovely. There you go. I'm going to post all this on the Instagram, so you guys definitely go check that out. But wow, what a fantastic little recap of the year. I love that. I didn't know that this was possible. I wonder if it was around last year as well. I would have loved to have seen the stats from 2024. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you. I think that's probably going to do it for our episode today. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on Spotify if that's where you listen to. My analytics tell me that the majority of people listen to the show on Spotify. I'm considering moving hosting over to Spotify as well. I'm just a little nervous because they're, I don't know, they don't have the best reputation for that kind of thing. But I don't know. If you all listen to it there, maybe we'll do that. I'm not sure. Go like the Instagram page so you can be updated when I'm having emergency surgeries, so you'll know if there'll be episodes late. I'll also post all these cool 2025 wrapped statistics for you to have a look at, because that's really, really cool. I'm kind of blown away. I really love making the show, and I love you guys. I love the people who listen to the show. And, you know, I feel like I used to do this too often, and I haven't done it for a while. But please, reach out. You know, send me an email. Send me a DM on Instagram. I love chatting with you guys. I love hearing your feedback on the show, what stories you like, what you don't like, what you'd like me to cover more of, all that great stuff. Of course, the Patreon, patreon.com/maneaters is always there. Thank you to everyone who supports the show there. Really helps me out, especially when I can't work for a week because of my stomach exploding. All the other good stuff in the bio. Be back next week for a brand new episode, gang. Can't wait to see you there. And as always, stay safe, because as we've learned, it's a jungle out there.